I tried to impress a girl. I shaved my area. But I forgot to shave my belly. So now I just look like a dog that's had surgery. But it's not a good look. My waist looks like the property line between a rich family and a poor family's house. And my ass is just the woods across the street. Don't go in the woods. Nobody go in the woods. Maybe pop a finger in the woods. My car broke down. The mechanic called me, and I live in Brooklyn now. My car broke down. The mechanic called me, and he said, your radiator's shot. What do you want to do? I was like, I probably want to get a second opinion from someone who knows how to pronounce radiator. That's what I was thinking I might do. I don't know. Did you check the spork plugs? What about the transmission? He said, he's a professional. If I went to the doctor and he was like, oh, we got to get you checked out for colon cancer, I would find a different doctor. Something doesn't smell right. I grew up with an older brother. I learned how to fight by fighting with my older brother. The problem with that is that you learn fighting skills that aren't necessarily applicable in the real world. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be in a bar fight and just jump kick a guy in the back and then lock myself in the bathroom till my mom comes home from work. Like, what just happened? I don't know. That grown man threw a remote control at my nuts, and then he climbed a tree and refused to come down. He's the greatest fighter I've ever seen. He threatened to lick my face. Did anyone have to fight their older brother? Who had to fight an older brother? You did. You had two. What was three? What was your strategy?
I just learned how to take a punch.
You learned how to take a punch. You sorry sack of shit. You just. You know this is going on an album. This is going on a famous comedy album. This is going on, and you just learned how to take a punch. Stand up for yourself, sir. No, that's fine. We'll edit that part out. It will make you look good. Well, I'm going to have it edited, so when you say I learned how to take a punch, it's going to go, I learned how to fuck some shit up. I asked that in St. Louis. I told that joke one time, and I asked that, and this guy with a big smile on his face, he told me, oh, I would put antifreeze in his juice. That's not a fighting technique, man. That's attempted murder. My dad's crazy. He got sick of us fighting so much, and one day my dad said, oh, you two like to fight so much. How about you fight for real? And fighting for real, according to my dad, was making us put on winter gloves and box in the backyard while he sat in a lawn chair and watched. just clearly for his own amusement. My father is the Michael Vick of children. Who wouldn't pay to see two shirtless little boys with tears streaming down their faces as they beat the shit out of each other with Transformers mittens? My dad would just yell. He would just yell questions at me that had no answers. And I was bad. I got in trouble for smoking weed in 8th grade. And I came home from school and my dad got in my face and he goes, I made it through the Vietnam War without smoking pot and you couldn't make it through middle school? What are you supposed to say to that? Yeah, sorry you were the only nerd in Vietnam. I must have missed that character in Apocalypse Now. Why don't you live a little bit, Paul? I would have done heroin in Vietnam. You know how I know that? Because I've done heroin in Cleveland. I've been sober a long time now, though. I don't do drugs or drink anymore. One thing I've missed out on a lot of developments in marijuana technology. That's what I've missed out on. Like all my friends in New York, they don't smoke weed anymore. They all have weed vape pens. Everyone's got a vape pen for weed, or they eat edibles. And now that marijuana is becoming legal or semi-legal everywhere, the edibles are crazy. They come with factory packaging and they've got brand names and ingredients on the back, and they're little gummy bears and lollipops and cakes. And back when I was smoking weed, if you wanted an edible, you had one choice, right? You remember you had to you had to find a hippie chick named like Tree Whistle. And she would sell you a brownie, and it would taste like dirt, and either one of two things would happen, right? Either A, absolutely nothing, or B, you would be uncomfortably high for 3 days. Those were the only, it was just either a complete dud or you were in the boat tunnel from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I had a weed brownie one time. I woke up 3 days later, I had a yellow belt in Taekwondo. And now they tell you everything that's in it, like, oh, this has got 2.4 milligrams of THC. They never told you what was in a weed brownie. Like, sometimes after you ate it, they'd be like, oh, there was angel dust in that one. You might be up for a while. Whose phone is ringing on my album? Oh, yours. Yeah, go ahead, take the call. Oh. I was confused by that. Am I just hearing things? No, okay. What fucking joke was I telling? No, I know it wasn't you. You get the shit kicked out of you by your brothers. You would never have the courage to leave your phone on. He's turning his phone on. Look at him. Guy's fucking standing up for himself for once in his life. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. Look, he put his foot on the stage. Okay, you've gone too far now. No, you're all right. You're all right. What's that? You're getting fucking carried away here now, man. My grandfather lived with us growing up. Something was wrong with him. He would salute. He would do a full military salute whenever he saw a cat. Anytime a cat entered the room, he would stand up and salute the cat, and then he would look around angrily at everyone else who wasn't saluting the cat. And I asked my mom, I go, hey, how come Grandpa Gordon salutes cats? And she looked at me like that was a crazy question and goes, because he was in the Navy. I feel like you answered the wrong half of that question. It wasn't the salute portion that I was concerned about. And he was saluting them. So not only did he think he was in the Navy with cats, he thought they outranked him. Just like, look, Grandpa, I know that he's an admiral, but if he doesn't stop scratching the couch, I'm gonna have to squirt him with water. I don't care how long he served.
I'm so happy that you are here and joining me on a beautiful spring night, or whatever the fuck we call this season now. Because I don't know what to call it anymore. But see, this is what people don't understand about what I call human-caused climate chaos. They call it climate change, but that's what climate change is about. You don't know what the fuck you're gonna get. Seriously, it's just like, spring is no longer spring, it's spruh. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you get one day, it might be warm, the next day, cold. Next day, it's warm, next day, cold rain. And that happens, that is a result of climate change, and that's what people don't understand, that's what it's really going to do. It's just going to fuck up your seasons. And the funny thing is, right now, we're in this is the second year in a row where this has happened, okay? If you remember last year in New York, like the spring never really happened, and people lost their mind. I mean, people just lost they're just like, oh my God, so cold. What happened to spring? We should have had a spring. We're being cheated out of spring. And the funny thing is, at the end of that protracted, cold, wet weather period, we had 5 days of 90-degree temperatures. And people lost their shit. They're like, oh my God, it's so hot. What happened to spring? It just went from winter to summer. We didn't even have a spring. We should have had a spring. Look at that, people are already reminiscing. People are reminiscing about that. I was there. We didn't have a spring. I actually was there. But at the end of those 5 days, they changed my life. Those 5 days changed my life. Because of those 5 days, I absolutely love hot weather. And I mean, I like it hot. And I don't mean just hot, I like it oppressive. I'm talking 98 degrees with 98% humidity hot. That's the kind of hot I like. I like it so hot that brothers from Africa leave their house in Brooklyn. Like, oh my God, I've got to go home. It is far too hot. What is this bullshit? So I will never forget, at the end of those 5 days, it was a Friday, and I had a live television appearance. And whenever you go on TV, no matter who you are, they have to put makeup on you. And for some reason, the makeup artist always explained to the men never to the women, but to the men, that they have to put makeup on you. You know, I don't know, maybe men are that fucking homophobic, you know, that they're just like, oh, don't paint me with gay. But that's not me. I love makeup, okay? It makes me look better. I wish I could wear it every day. I really don't care, you know what I mean? So she comes over and she goes, so, we're gonna put some makeup on you. But don't worry, you're still gonna look like you. I was like, I already look like me. She's like, yes, I know, but we're just gonna put some powder on you and take the shine off, but don't worry, you're still gonna look like you. I was like, maybe I don't wanna look like me. Maybe I wanna step this shit up. Do something different, like a smoky eye. Or a coral lip. Don't limit me, bitch, make me beautiful. Beyonce can't be the only one. But she didn't do that. She just put some powder on me and looked like me. It was very disappointing. But after the appearance, they had a car waiting for me, and I don't know if you know, but 30 Rock is, you know, in Midtown Manhattan, and I was like, fuck that, I'm not getting a car in Midtown Manhattan 5 o'clock on a Friday. I'll get home on Tuesday. Okay, now I know who lives in New York. Everybody who laughed lives in New York. Because you know you do not do that. You never get in a car at 5 o'clock on a Friday in Midtown Manhattan. You don't do that. You do what New Yorkers do. You take the subway, you know? And so that's what I did. I went downstairs. I was like, hey, man, listen, yeah, I'm Chuck. So I'm not going to get into the car because I want to get home this century. So do me a favor, just tell them that you took me wherever you said you got to take me, and so you can get paid, but I'm going to take the subway. And he goes, are you sure? It's very hot. And that should have been a sign to me, but instead, I go like this. Yes, I am sure. Because for whatever reason, I speak to people in whatever accent they speak to me. Like, I think it's because I've been living in New York for too long. You know what I mean? There's just so many accents, like you just start mirroring the accent without even knowing that you're mirroring the accent. Like, even if I'm at a restaurant and the waiter comes over and he's just like, hello, I am Henri, I will be your waiter. And I'm just like, hello, I am Charles, I will be eating the shit you are bringing me. But he goes, you're okay? And I go, I'm okay. And so if you know 30 Rock, the subway station is directly under the station, right? So literally, I turn from the car and walk down into the subway, and it's 6,800 fucking degrees. Because that's what happens in New York after 5 days of 90-degree temperatures. The subway just becomes a little easy bake oven of shame. You go in it and it smells like anger took a piss on frustration. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? I just left a chauffeur-driven, air-conditioned limousine to crawl into Satan's asshole. What the hell is wrong with me? But I'm standing on the subway platform, and my God, it is so hot. And I am sweating profusely, and I'm like, oh my God, it is so hot. And we didn't even have a spring. We should have had a spring. And so I go into my bag, because I am sweating like I have never sweated before in my life. It was like I was showering from the inside out. like my clothes are wet, I am dripping sweat, and I'm standing there. So I go into my bag and I pull out a wad of napkins, which are white, forgetting that I'm wearing the makeup. And I mop my brow, and the white napkins immediately turn brown, and people are looking at me. So I decided to have some fun with it. I'm just mopping my brow and looking at the napkins like, oh. Now even more people are looking at me. So I'm playing it up. I'm just like, oh, oh. And the white people on the platform were like, my God, it is hot. That Negro is melting. And that's why I like it fucking hot. I love this city when it gets warm. You know, this is a very walkable city. I love walking in New York when it's warm because it's like a little circus. You know what I mean? You get your own little show. You know what I mean? I don't care where you are in New York. If you're walking around this city, you get your own little show. I was on Canal Street yesterday, and there was a guy in an evening gown and a cowboy hat. And I was like, you were born 20 years too late, because all you need right now is some roller skates. And I could get you a date. It's a great city to walk, man. That's all there is to it. I had a true New York moment last week. True New York moment. I am walking up 3rd Avenue, and there's a blind guy standing on the corner, and he's just saying out into the air, someone help me. Someone please help me. Someone help me. And as I walked by him, I thought to myself, somebody ought to help that dude. This man seems very serious about his need for help. But then the moment got the better of me. I was like, oh, let me go over here. I know I'm gonna regret this. Let me see what the fuck he needs. So I walk over to him and I'm just like, what is it, man? What do you need? And he's like, I can't see the traffic. The lights don't beep. I'm just trying to get to the other side of the street. Right. Exactly. I was like, God damn. New York is a tough city. Like a blind guy can't even get across the street. Because you know what New Yorkers are doing? New Yorkers are so busy, they're just like, I'm late. He can't see me. I'm good. I know, some of y'all groaning, but y'all walk by that motherfucker too. So I said to him, yo, man, take my arm. I'm gonna get you to the other side of the street. Because I'm a good person. So he takes my arm and we start walking across the street, and halfway across, shit got weird. He leans over to me And he says, say, you're not black, are you? Now, some of y'all are grown, and I can understand that. I almost had that same reaction. But then a little voice inside of me said, you're a comedian. Let's see where this shit goes. So I said, I didn't know that would make a difference. And he goes, it doesn't. I'm blind. I don't even know what black is. Which to me was fucking hilarious. And I'm thinking to myself, only in New York, can you do a Boy Scout good deed, like help a blind guy across the street only to have him break your fucking balls. Now, thank you, he pranks you. So I started laughing. He's like, oh man, I'm so glad that you laughed at that because last week I said that to a woman and she was like, no, I'm not black, so you're okay. Absolutely. Now that was the right response. That's the exact right response. Because if you would have responded like, I see what she's saying. Might have a little problem with you. And then he says, so I said to her, you racist bitch. And now I'm thinking, oh my God, this is the coolest blind dude I have ever met in my life. I fucking love this, but move over, Stevie Wonder. This is the blind guy for me. This is my blind guy. And we're like having a little party in the middle of the street. I'm laughing, he's laughing, I let go of him, I slap him on the back, he gets hit by a car. And then I had to run because it looked like a black guy just pushed a blind guy into fucking traffic.
I want to talk about these bags. And this is one of those reusable shopping bags. And this one just happens to be made out of plastinium, you know? Just a coincidence. But where I'm from in Boulder, they want you to use these bags. And if you use one of these plastic shopping bags, they charge you $0.10 per bag. Tax, I know. And it always gets really quiet during this part of the show. Everybody's like, dude, just pay the damn dime, you know? And honestly, it would not be the first time I bought a dime bag in Boulder, but it makes me mad. Because I feel like I'm doing my part. Like I say, I'm a vegetarian, I ride the bus, and I don't care if you eat me. You could tackle a cow right in front of me and start gnawing on it and be like, hey, I think that's your right, go ahead, you know? And if the cow started winning, I would jump down there and start fighting the cow with you. But it makes me mad. Like I say, 10 cents a bag, right? But here's what I found, and that is that these much smaller produce bags are free, you know? So I started bagging my groceries in these, and then I'm like, hey, I'm gonna need some help to the bus stop, because I have 83 of these. You could send a bag boy, and that didn't sound right, so then I was like, bag person, and that sounded even weirder. So I was like, if you could just send your lowest paid employee, that would be great. So here's the other thing though, you know, like I go through the self-checkout and it prompts you and it says, how many bags would you like to purchase? So one day I was feeling my oats and I'm like, hey, I hit 200 and hit send, you know? So the manager comes out and he goes, sir, you didn't mean to purchase 200 bags, did you? And I threw down to 20 and I said, I sure did, man. And I made him count out 200 of these plastic bags. And then I was like, Oprah, you get a bag, you get a bag. So, oh, thanks, man. So the manager comes out and he goes, sir, you have to stop. You can't do that. And I said, you can't stop me. I bought these bags. This is America. I'm doing it. And it turns out they could stop me. There was a lawsuit, and I'm no longer allowed to shop for groceries in Boulder. So now, you know, a lot of comics sell T-shirts or CDs after the show. I'm selling this book, and I didn't write it, but I'm selling it. So I just have the one. So see me in a hurry if you're interested. And I'm also selling this. It's thin spaghetti. If you're listening at home, I'm selling some thin spaghetti. It's, I guess I should describe it. It's a 1 pound bag, box of thin spaghetti. I did one of those things at the grocery store where you buy 10 and you get a really good deal. So I bought 10 of these, and then it turns out I'm not a fan of thin spaghetti. So $1 OBO. All right.
Men don't buy towels. We inherit towels. Before we're kicked out of the nest by our family, our parents give us 2 towels for life. A bath towel and a beach towel. Like, what's that long one for? Like, trust us, you'll need it someday. There's only so many times we can cover you ladies up with a crunchy towel. Before you get offended, like, ow, did that just scratch me? This is disgusting. How come when I put your towel over there, it just stays? It looks like a sculpture. What is going on? Is there a ghost levitating underneath it? Looks like a cardboard cutout waving at me. Is that an oil stain on your towel? What are you using these towels for? Everything. I have 2 towels. Like, you ladies have it figured out, right? You've got a bunch of different kinds of towels in your bathroom, right? You got the body towel, you got the hand towel, you got washcloths. Sometimes you even have decorative towels. They're not even for touching, they're just for looking. That's how many towels ladies have. Ladies, you don't even know how many towels we have until you close the door of our bathroom. Then there's just one rogue towel. Hanging on the door looking at you. And it's always slightly damp. It's never bone dry to the touch. And you ladies have to make a decision after you wash your hands. If that transaction is gonna make your hands cleaner or dirtier, that's when you start air drying those things and walking away. Someone's already like, nope, I'm not doing that, nope. Like, you could ask any guy in here how much a towel costs, and we'd be like, I don't know, like $700? They're expensive, right? That's why we only have a couple. Oh, great snort. I like snorts. Snorts are like the queefs of laughs. Oh, sorry. I swear it doesn't happen all the time. A lot of queefers in the crowd. I don't know. That joke usually doesn't do that well, but Madison, you're like, yeah, dude. I grew up in Kansas. I grew up very religious. I've actually never had a drink of alcohol. I've never done a drug in my life. And the only woman that I've ever slept with is my wife. 2 truths and a lie. Because your boy be getting it. No, all that's true, actually. You hear that? Now that's the nice boy I want to know. That's nice. Ladies are always supportive, you know, but there's always a hint of a condescending tone. They treat me like a special education kid that won an award that nobody was competing for. Wow, that is good for you. Your mom must be proud. Gold star. Guys are always upset with me. It's like I failed them. They're like, dude, how could you do this to me? Like, you're weird looking, but you could have got 3, dude. You sold yourself short, man. My wife loves it, though. She loves that she got this. Fresh out the packaging. There's no miles on this Ferrari. Bow still intact, Merry Christmas. Like, my wife looks at me with a lot of pride. She looks at me like a piece of IKEA furniture that she assembled all by herself. Sure, it was difficult at times. She almost gave up in the process. But then she saw it through and she completed me. Now, would I be a little bit more stable if a couple of her friends would have helped her out along the way? Absolutely. I'm definitely missing a screw or two. People ask me all the time, they're like, Jeremiah, is it weird for you that you've only slept with your wife, but she slept with other people before you? No, I put a positive spin on everything, right? I look at my wife like a new pair of shoes that was donated to a Goodwill. And I happen to be the lucky guy to find them that day. I'm looking at all these gross beat up shoes and I'm like, oh, how did these get here? These are like brand new. They must have only been worn once or twice. The guy who donated them is still in the store. He's like, yeah, more than twice. I'm like, we're gonna go twice. I like how some of these are taking a really long time for people to get. It's okay. Choose your laughs at your own pace. It's okay. On the drive home, oh, I get that. Okay. Nice. Okay, that guy was pretty clever, actually. Cool. Yeah, man. I didn't have many girlfriends in high school. You said why? I don't know. Ask all the girls. Hello, I'm here. Let's go back in time real quick to every one of those. Was that you right here that asked why? Who was it that said why? Right here? You said why? Did you crush it in high school? No? Okay, so you were like upset on your own behalf too. It's like, why did it happen to you too? You're a comedian, you have confidence and stuff, you're on stage. I thought you could have done it for us both. How long have you two been together? 6 years. Did you have many girlfriends before this? Yeah? Everything you say contradicts itself. You didn't crush it in high school. You had a lot of girlfriends. Been with her 6 years. You're a walking Jeopardy board, my friend. How'd you two meet? Tinder? That guy's the most judgmental guy in here, by the way. I love that guy. He's pure joy and pure evil at the same time. Tinder, you fools! I met my wife on eHarmony. This will be. I'm curious about that guy now. You know what I mean? Are you here with somebody tonight, sir? Sometimes you get flat out surprised at shows. Would you say you crushed it back in the day, sir? Would you say you're slightly inebriated, sir? Yes, yeah. It's cool. Yeah, I didn't have many girlfriends in high school, and in Kansas, like the metric system for that, like if you don't have a bunch of girlfriends, your dad just thinks you're gay. You know what I mean? My dad's like, so are you seeing any? Do you like girls? I'm trying to focus on my art right now, okay, Dad? My dad's like, his name is Art? You know, you get asked that question enough over the years, you start developing a little bit of a complex, like, why does everybody keep asking me this? You know what I mean? So, for years, I've been trying to prove to my dad, to my wife, and to myself that I'm not gay. Right? So, my wife, if she wants to have sex anytime, like, I gotta be ready to go. I got something to prove, you know what I'm saying? Right? Like, she can do that thing where, you know, that you ladies do, or you do a temperature check on us. It's rare, but sometimes you ladies are in the mood before us, and you'll do like a... You bat it around a little bit. And we never acknowledge what you're doing, but we're just like, is she doing what we think she's doing? Like there's some invisible thing on the other side of the bed that she's grabbing for that's not there. She's like, let me just get this real quick. And then you want us to think that you are still having us initiate. Like, hey, are you in the mood? You're like, wait, you want to have sex with me? I mean, I guess. Sometimes you're more blatant. You do the finger walk thing, the do 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 do, beep boop 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 boop. Hello, rise and shine. So I can be dead tired. I can be absolutely dead tired, coming straight out of a coma, right? But if my wife initiates, I'm like, what? Let's do this. I'm not gay. I'm so not gay right now. This is awesome. This is great. So my wife was ready to have children before me. I think a lot of times, ladies, you know your timeline ahead of us as men. You have ideas of when you want things to happen. Men try to live life like they're vampires. Like, yeah, we can have kids. Is next century good for you? Is that okay? Cool. We're living forever, right? I don't want to make plans anytime soon. You ladies have an idea, you know what I mean? My wife was like dreaming about having kids before I was, right? She would like wake up, she'd be like, oh, I just had the most beautiful dream last night. I had a dream that two fairies were descending from the heavens. And between their wings, they were holding a bassinet. And as it touched earth, I peered over and pulled back the sheet. And it was a baby. And that baby was a perfect blend of my face and yours. And I'm like, was this a good dream or a bad dream? Because it sounds terrifying to me. Because I had a similar dream last night, but it was a toddler-sized man that was carrying a butcher knife that was following me around. Going, you're my daddy. You're my daddy forever. So we're on slightly different timelines, right? So she caught on to something that I would do when we were making love. When we were about to reach that moment of ecstasy together, hopefully together. You hope. I would say, because I wasn't ready, I'd lean down and go, I'm about to pull out. Because I'm a romantic. You have to let your lady know when you're about to do that. It's a very scary situation if you don't give some kinds of heads up. You can't just be making sweet, passionate love. Give no warning to... M'lady. Would you like one of my towels? Bath or beach, your choice.
All right. I got pulled over. I heard someone yell, "Pull over!" Which isn't normally the way you get pulled over. So I looked over my left shoulder. I had to look all the way back to see them because I was on my bicycle. And they yelled it again, "Pull over!" And sure enough, the person yelling it is a real actual police officer. They had the mustache and everything, legit. But the reason they're yelling, "Pull over," is that they too are on a bicycle. I'm a comedian, I like to have fun. I thought about going, "Oh, no. I know how this works. You have to go, wee." But then I remembered about cops having a great sense of humor. You know? So I skipped that and I went ahead and I pulled over. And the cop pulled his bike right behind me, just like he would do if we were in cars, with his little headlight shining on the back of my head. And he made me wait there a really long time. Now, I was on my way to a comedy show. I thought, this is cool, I'm in my own hometown, I can ride my bike to the comedy show, and now I'm sitting there with some guy shining his headlight on the back of my head waiting, and thinking, what am I waiting for? Because if we were in cars, I would assume I was waiting while he ran my license plate through his dashboard computer. But we were on bicycles. So I had no license plates, and he had no dashboard. It's infuriating. And then I look and I see another bike cop come whipping around the corner. Very thin guy, we'll call him Officer Sunglasses. As he pulls up next to Officer Mustache, I thought, that's it. Back up. Because look at me. When I walked out on stage, the first thing you thought was, I would need some backup to tackle with that fella. He looks like one of those vegans. So now he's got his backup. The two of them do this awesome move. I mean, just badass. They both throw down their left foot and then perfectly synchronized, swing their right foot over their bikes. It was everything I could do not to applaud. I was like, that was so cool! I know they learned that watching Chips. That was awesome. I love the idea that that's how bike cops bond. They watch Chips together and they're like, ooh, we should rehearse that. That was cool. I'm gonna get some glasses like that. Yeah. So they make their way up towards my bike, and the Officer Sunglasses stops a few feet shy of me, puts his legs apart, and fixes me with a look that says we may soon have a failure to communicate. An Officer Mustache comes right up to me, and he says, you know why I pulled you over? Now, Don't ever answer that. Because that's how they try to get you to confess. And maybe confess stuff that they didn't even know about. You know why I pulled Joe out? Was it the drugs in my pocket? I didn't think you could see those. What was it? I don't know. I said, no, man, I don't know. I don't know why you pulled me over, and I'm laughing. Started laughing. Did I mention I do that? In times of confrontation, I tend to laugh. And he says, something amusing? Well, I learned a long time ago that when an authority figure hears me laughing and they ask if something's amusing, I can't tell them the truth. I can't say, no, this is actually respect. See, I have this thing, I'm a nervous laugher, and so this is actually me being afraid of you. It doesn't work. So, I have to think of something quick that's amusing. He says, find something amusing? I said, well, just say we're both on bikes, right? That's kind of funny. You know, it's like we're a couple of kids playing traffic stop. He doesn't like that. Thank you. I'm glad you did. He says, I assure you, this is perfectly serious. And I can hear his teeth breaking and everything. And I said, hey, calm down. Okay, you guys know? I didn't know. I thought I was gonna teach you guys. You don't do that. You don't tell a cop to calm down. I had no idea. Any of you that didn't just gasp in horror, listen up. This is where you get your ticket's worth. Yeah, you don't tell a cop to calm down. It has the opposite of its desired effect. He says, I assure you I'm perfectly calm. He says, you were riding your bike on the K Street pedestrian mall. I was like, oh. Thinking, thank God you were there. I don't think I was. I think I was just crossing it. He says, do you have a driver's license? To which I reply, I'm on a bicycle. I don't need a driver's license. Because I'm already past making friends at this point. He says, do you have a form of identification? I said, yes, I do. And I, handed him my driver's license. He looks at it like it's amazing. And he says, you have any warrants for your arrest, Mr. Jensen? I start laughing again. And it's not the nervousness now. I'm like, do I have any warrants? No, I don't have any warrants, man. You busted me for riding my bike. This is not gonna be your big bust, You're not gonna end up in the documentary about the Zodiac killer, We knew we had him when he rode his bicycle on the K Street pedestrian mall. We moved in. Waited for my backup. Coolly asked him if he knew what I was pulling him over for. Is it because I'm the Zodiac killer? I don't know what kind of fantasy he had concocted. I was like, no, man, I don't have any warrants for my arrest. He says, we'll see. Then he goes back to his bike to call in my license number on his radio, find out if I have any warrants. His buddy in the sunglasses was still just standing there staring at me. And I started thinking, all right, I'm gonna at least, I'm late for my comedy show. I'm gonna at least get a good Facebook post out of this. I start composing tweets in my head. Then I think, man, I'd love to get this on Instagram too. Maybe I could sneak a picture. So I slide my phone out of my pocket, and I take a picture of Officer Mustache. And it goes well, uneventful. I give it a cute check. It looks good. Then I turn to Sunglasses, and I go ahead and snap one of him too real quick. To which he says, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I was just taking a couple pictures to remember our special time together. He says, you can't do that. I was like, oh, okay, noted for future reference. Because I just did. It's too late to undo it. He says, give me the phone. I was like, oh, no, man. You pulled me over for riding my bicycle. No, I'm not a lawyer. I've never gone to law school. And these are the words that came out of my mouth. You just pulled me over for riding my bike. This is not a take my phoneable offense. You hear that one standing up in court, right? Your Honor, this was clearly not a take your phoneable offense. That's what I said. He says, give me the phone. I said, I'm not gonna. And I go to put it back in my pocket, and he reaches out and he grabs my wrist. And I yanked my arm away without thinking. Yeah, where's your ooh now? You don't do that either. Because you find out how strong the skinny cop is. Turns out quite. And he slams me on the ground, gets on top of me. I got a knee between my shoulder blades. My nose is bleeding. And Mustache goes ballistic. He goes full Barney Fife. He comes running over like doing a jig. Like, he's fighting. Like, brain short circuiting. He's not helping in any way. Just like, he's fighting. As this is all happening, this is on the part of K Street where like there's a lot of hotels and weddings and receptions happen. This photographer just happens to come walking down L Street and then comes around the corner and sees this, and he's like, oh my God, a Pulitzer! And he runs over and he starts snapping pictures. And he's not shy, he's getting right up in my face, and I noticed the cops didn't mind him taking their picture at all. They didn't ask for his phone, they were posing. They were like, get him with his eyes open, Like hunters with a fresh deer. We're gonna hang this one back at the station. So, I look up at the photographer and I say, my name is Keith Lowell Jensen, and I would really love to have these photographs. Not because I'm thinking of using them in court or anything, but because I'm a comedian and headshots are expensive. And if that picture was on the poster for tonight, we would have filled this place a lot faster. Imagine my face with the blood and the cop behind me smiling, like you'd be like, I need to know what this is about. Cop picks me up, and that's when Mustache gets in my face, and he says, boy, are you dumb. I'm like, that's hurtful. He says, you're a big dummy. You're a big dumb. Now it's starting to sound kind of wholesome. I was like, these are his go-to insults. This is cute. He says, I was going to let you go with a warning. Yeah, but now you're under arrest. You're going to jail. How do you like that? You're under arrest, and you're going to jail. I was like, I understand. But he said it one more time just for good measure. So I repeated it to him. I'm under arrest and I'm going to jail. Can I ask one question? He said, sure, what? And I said, how? It's fair, right? Because I've been arrested before, but never by a dude on a bicycle. I don't know how do I get on the handlebars? Are we gonna act out a scene from E.T.? What are we doing here? Don't make me run behind you, please. I'm not in good shape. We could ride bikes. That's fun, let's go ride bikes. He says, we'll call a car. To which I said, oh my God, you have to call the car cops? That must be so humiliating for you. He stomps back to his radio and he calls the car cops, who drive their car right down the middle of the K Street pedestrian mall that I had so soiled with my bicycle tires. They park right on top of the light rail tracks. They come over, they're all, is that the guy? And I'm like, yeah, the bloody one in the handcuffs, that's the guy. I said, what are you gonna do with my bike? They said, we'll put it in the trunk. I said, well, you should probably take a look at my bike. Because I rode one of those big stretch dyno beach cruisers with the giant handlebars and the Springer forks because I was cool. And they look at it and they go, yeah, we're gonna have to call a truck. So then the car cops who'd been called by the bike cops called the truck cops, and then the truck cops came and drove right down the middle of the K Street pedestrian mall, parked on top of the light rail tracks behind the cop car. I've now started a parade. They come out and get my bike. I'm like, hey, bike, when you get to bike jail, pick the biggest bike there and just punch him in the face. Thought I sounded cool. Truck drives off, the car cops put me in the car, and the two bike cops run over to their bikes, and they get in position like they're about to do the Tour de France. And the car cops look at them funny and get in the car, and as they shut the door, I heard the greatest line of the night. The driver turns back to me and he goes, hey man, don't you just hate bike cops? Like, I do! Oh my God.